All right, good evening. This is the Board of Directors meeting for October 6, 2025. Can we get the roll, please?
Yes. Director Sailors?
Present.
Thank you. Director Sailors is joining us via Zoom this evening. Director Gould?
Present.
Director Stark?
Here.
Director Weber?
Here.
Director Wood?
Here.
Director Costa?
Here.
Director Clark? Here. Director Rice?
Here.
Director Jones?
Here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Director Stark, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Yes.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director. All right, Metro Cable, our meeting is being recorded. It will be broadcast on Metro Cable Channel 14 and DirecTV UVerse cable systems. The local recording will be closed captioned. It'll be video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting will replay at 6 o'clock on Monday, October 13, and again at 2 o'clock on Wednesday, October 15 on Metro Cable Channel 14. Once posted, the meeting can be viewed at youtube.com/MetroCable14. Right now is the opportunity for members of the public to comment on matters on or not on the agenda. Do we have any speakers?
I have no speaker cards. Anybody that's wishing to make a public comment on Zoom, please use the raise your hand feature. No public comments. Thank you.
All right. We'll move on to our consent calendar. Do we have any questions on the consent?
No, sir.
Do I have a motion on the consent?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We've got a motion and a second. Could we get the roll, please?
Director Sailors?
Aye.
Director Gould?
Aye.
Director Stark?
Aye.
Director Clark? Aye. Director Rice?
Aye.
Director Jones?
Aye.
Director Weber?
Aye.
Director Costa?
Aye.
President Wood?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
All right, we'll move on to our presentation items. Our only one tonight is Aaron Castleberry. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me tonight. We'll wait for this to pull up here, but as you know, this year's CIP authorized 4 new fire station projects to begin the planning stages. 1 new station at Watt and Myrtle to relocate Station 42, and 3 demo rebuild projects at existing sites for stations 23, 61, and 112. Hearing from this board and from members, and knowing that there was a clear desire to enhance and improve our end user engagement during the design process, we developed a design engagement plan. And tonight, I'm going to provide an overview of that plan, including the strategies that we are implementing, and provide an update to you on where we are with that implementation. So the purpose of the design engagement plan was to enhance end user confidence and satisfaction with the design of new stations. The desired outcomes you can see here are increased member buy-in and ownership over that, and ultimately more functional and effective design that meets both operational and member needs. So our engagement strategy is broken down into 2 phases. We have a pre-project engagement, which would be phase 1, and then project-specific engagement, which we are addressing in phase 2. So phase 1 is our pre-project engagement. Our goal for this phase was to gain consensus on general design priorities and recommendations. Our stakeholders who we plan to engage in this phase are end users, all of the members of this organization who are out on the line living in these stations and working in them every day, chief officers as well, and then targeted support staff in divisions that support the fire stations. So that would be IT, fleet, communications, logistics, wellness, health and safety, communications, any that are going to have that direct interaction or have to support the physical infrastructure of those stations. How we were engaging in phase 1 is utilizing an online survey. And when we were evaluating what does success look like here, we said we'd like that responses represent a mix of stations, participation from as many stations as possible, rank, and years of service. Our phase 2 is our project-specific engagement. So this phase would begin once we have our design contractor on board and are actually moving forward into the design process for these stations. The goal for this phase is to gain consensus on the project-specific design for each of these stations. Our stakeholder group here would be end users at those specific stations, as well as targeted users who have indicated via phase 1, which I'll talk about here shortly, that they are interested in providing additional input as we move forward. How we plan to engage in this phase is twofold. The first is that we would host design workshops to be facilitated by our design team once we bring them on board, and with our stakeholder group identified here to go over just project-specific goals, priorities, and general programming to come to a base design. And then as we move through the design process and are reaching design milestones, we'd have a design review process as we move through, 30% design, 60% design as we're kind of moving through, and having a design review process, again, with a more targeted group of stakeholders. So success for this phase, we'd love to have participation, obviously, from all 4 stations that we're planning on working on here. And again, from those, as much participation as possible from those who have signed up, which again, I'll talk about that in a minute, to continue their participation in the process. So we've already started. Phase 1 launched in August and included an online survey that we sent out to all line members, as well as those, obviously, who are on day assignments. So every 605 of them at the time that we sent it out received that survey, as well as a separate survey for chief officers and a separate survey from that for the targeted support divisions. IT, comms, fleet, logistics, facilities, and wellness, health, and safety. Prior to the survey launch, I did have the opportunity to meet with Director Stark and Vice President Schollard to provide an overview of the plan and kind of demo the survey with them, get their feedback on that, and we made some adjustments and launched the survey out. It was open for a couple weeks, and it closed on September 2nd. So our survey topics included just some general design sentiment to sort of gauge where people were, a ranking of design priorities. We had a section about needs versus wants. We had a section on different wellness, health, and safety features and how useful members felt personally about different kinds of features. We had a would you rather section, which was kind of deciding between 2 things. And then we had some open-ended questions. And the open-ended questions centered on desirable design features, frustrations with current design, potential training features or opportunity to incorporate training features, and input on materials, finishes, and equipment at the stations. So when we made this, we had feedback from previous builds. We have different issues that have come up over the years. We tried to incorporate all of that into these questions so we could sort of see, do we like to have, I'm trying to think of an example. Do we like to have a combined kitchen day room, or do we like to have a separate day room separate from the kitchen so people can be cooking and doing, relaxing in separate spaces, different kinds of things that have come up over the years. So it took, I think, about 15 to 20 minutes. It was 9 different sections. And then on the chief officer survey, we also asked some questions from their viewpoint on day-to-day operations, pain points, feedback they've received, as well as some questions on forward-looking strategy about flexibility for future operations and, sort of where they see the district going. The support divisions had some very targeted questions about their specific areas of expertise and improvements that we could make in the station design to support them as they provide physical support to the stations. And then each survey ended with an opportunity for individuals to sign up to stay involved as we move forward. They were able, everything else was anonymous unless they wanted to sign up, and they would provide their name, email address, all that. So that launched August 18th, and we were very excited. Did we meet our objectives? We had over 30% participation from the members. We had participation from every single station. We had a good mix of rank and years of service. You can see the split here on the survey results. And a total of 80 individuals signed up to stay involved as we move forward into phase 2 engagement. So we were very encouraged by these results. Super excited about the participation and that we have a really representative mix here of rank and years of service. So we feel like we got a good group of responses across the organization. From the results of the survey, we have validated our general design priorities. They're shown here. Operational and efficiency ranked highest on the survey. Member wellness, health and safety, durability of systems and finishes, flexibility and budget, all these priorities. Some of these were pretty close races with each other, but generally speaking, these were the priorities. We also identified some key themes that were common across responses related to wellness and fitness features in the stations, improvements made for living quarters in order to enhance rest and relaxation and privacy. Lots of comments about durability of finishes and appliances. Good feedback on ways to incorporate some training features into the station, and then looking at the app bay design. Probably our most common comment on the entire survey was drive-through apparatus space, which I'm happy to say we have already begun incorporating that into our most recent station designs. Those who signed up to stay engaged as we move forward in the process have indicated they are most interested in the overall programming of the station and sort of the site design and floor plan, circulation and things like that. So that was good information as we move forward. We know where people are most looking to engage. As for what is next, our phase 2 engagement, as I stated, will begin once we bring our design contractor on board. I'll be talking about that in another presentation. And we're targeting that this engagement phase probably would begin February, March, somewhere right there in the first quarter of 2026. We plan to share, obviously, these survey results with our design team so they can use that information to facilitate that first step of the design workshops. The discussion at those will be centered around all of the expressed design priorities and recommendations and getting to that sort of base design programming. We also plan to work with our design team to develop what that design review plan looks like moving forward, how that will be structured in order to incorporate those key stakeholders that we discussed. With that, I will take any questions you have, but just wanted to provide an update on where we were with this process. And we're looking forward to continuing on.
Director Weber?
Yes, in your surveys, was it brought up by anybody as far as security of the stations? If not, think about that.
There was, the only comment I received on that, I think, was related specifically to battalion stations that have battalion chiefs at them. There's a particular station, I think, that has the window to the bedroom of the battalion chief is in front of the gate. So anybody can go up to the window and knock on it, or, you know, whatever. So that feedback was, all windows that lead to bedrooms should be behind the secured access gate. But generally speaking, I don't really remember seeing any comments about station security. I will say that in our, you know, in 68 and in 67 that we're working on now, those have gates, secured access gates.
I'm just thinking of recent break-ins over the last years, and the security, not only of the station and the facilities, but also the personnel.
Yeah, we have implemented over the past several years, we received grant funding. Facilities actually managed this project. I don't know if Joe's still, there he is. Facilities managed these projects. We received grant funding over several years, Homeland Security grant funding for station security projects. And I believe we have implemented at all stations, most stations, controlled access entry into the station. So you have to have a code or a fob or something in order to get into the station and the APE. Yeah, it wasn't a comment that we really saw.
Director Stark?
I just wanted to thank Erin for all the hard work that she did. I know it took a lot of time and effort to make this happen. I just think it's really important that we get input from the folks who are on the line that are going to live damn near a third of their life in these facilities. And I thought that was really important, as well as getting services in there and IT so that they can, you know, be involved in the process. And I look forward to the next phases where we get more involved in the development of these projects. Thank you for your work.
Thanks.
Thank you, Director. Director Gould?
I really like what you've presented this evening. It's a good, strong plan, and it's well worded. I would love to see us in the fact that we're a community service. Let's figure out key stakeholders that we need to engage that are from the community. So when we talk about how it integrates into those various communities, I'd love to see, for instance, in 23, let's figure out who the leadership at Citrus Heights is and who could have a part in that, so that we engage those cities and those players there. It's ultimately their firehouses too, and I love the idea that frontline folks that are gonna be living in every day are at the top of that food chain, but we also went out in the community and asked them to support us, which they did. And now we wanna turn the favor around and say, now help us. As we build your firehouses, help us do that and have them engage and kind of own the process as well. But really well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, most, all of the jurisdictions that the projects will be in, it'll encompass Sacramento County, City of Citrus Heights, and City of Rancho Cordova, where the 4 projects are located. And the design review process on their side, as far as being the jurisdiction issuing the permit, typically does involve a community outreach as part of that design review process. So we will be engaged in that.
And I get that part. I'd like to see them engaged in the meetings even earlier, even before it goes to any permitting, I call them taxing agencies. But, you know, I would rather them to be involved early on so that there's more of a connection to the building.
Yes,
and how
certainly.
it works in those communities. You know, I'm talking mayors and city council members that could come and be involved at the earliest stages, Aaron.
Great.
When they get to the taxing agency that gives a permit, it's already fait accompli. They really don't have any way to change that at that point. So anyway, there you go.
Director Stark?
Just a comment on it, that'll be in the phase 2.
Okay.
And that's what we're gonna work at with the ad hoc committee with Dellum and Brian. We're gonna all be on that committee to try to get input from the localities.
I had total faith that that would happen on my colleagues.
Any other comments or questions for Ms. Castleberry?
Director Saylors has her hand up.
Director Saylor, sorry, I don't have the ability to see your hand, so go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Along with what Director Gould was talking about, does like the City of Rancho Cordova or Citrus Heights, do they have like an art committee do they put art at any of their buildings? Maybe that's something that they would have, an art piece that they would put at the station or something like that.
Good feedback. Thank you, Director Saylors. We will look into that.
Thank you very much. That's all my comments. Thank you.
I know, to her point, I know with 68, there was somebody, I think it was with SMUD, that worked on getting some of those the
Yep.
covers, art.
Yeah, the green box.
Yeah, the green box now got
covers,
art
yes.
on it.
Uh-huh.
So hopefully that we can get some people involved from that as well. So thank you so much. Wonderful.
Thank you.
One comment, Director Wood,
Oh,
if I
yeah,
may.
sorry, Chief.
While you're up there, Aaron, I'm gonna give you a compliment here. But first, I want to compliment all the members that participated in the survey. Pretty good turnout in numbers and well represented. So thank all the members that did participate. If you didn't, next time it comes, please do, because your voice is being heard. And I think we're doing that better as an organization wholeheartedly. And Director Stark, thanks for cleaning that up a little bit. You're going to all be provided from, I believe, Kyle McDonald soon, what all the stakeholders are in your districts or divisions. And lastly, I'm going to share a dinner opportunity that I was with Erin and her passion on this. She was asking Chief Mitchell and I at a dinner, is it too late to call a station because the survey is closed, and I'd really like to hear from these members or this division, the passion that you have to make sure that voices are heard and we make these right, to your point. We live a third of our lives in these firehouses, and it's really important that the members have, the end users that are living there have a voice and are able to make it home. It's not just a workplace, it's a home. And so thank you for doing that. Your passion shined. And the care that went into that was remarkable. And about everything you touched. But she was calling and making sure it was okay that, from the fire perspective, that can we call right now? Can we make a phone call? Because I really want to hear from Station 53. So
I wasn't sure if 8 p.m. I'm like, I don't know. Are they going to be trying to sleep right now?
well, and anybody that works at 53, you know it's okay to call almost at any time. So thank you, Aaron.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Aaron. All right, we'll move on to our action items. We have two with Shay Purcell, the fleet manager. Good evening, Shay.
Good evening, directors, chief. I'm back again to spend more Measure O allocated funds to clear our backlog. This first one is for the tractor-drawn aerial purchase. This is the last of the 3 approved trucks in this year's budget. Side note, our finance division has determined that the prepayment option will not realize a cost savings for this purchase, so we'll be paying on delivery for this one. The estimated delivery of this unit will be in Q3 of 2028, reflecting a year's reduction in lead time, and will replace Truck 106 when it lands. And staff recommends that the board approves this purchase of a 107-foot tractor-drawn aerial from Golden State Fire Incorporated.
Do I have any questions for Mr. Purcell? I'll take a motion on item 1 then.
I'll move it.
Second.
Got a motion and a second?
Great. Director Sailors.
Aye.
Director Gould.
Aye.
Director Stark.
Aye.
Director Clark.
Aye.
Director Rice.
Aye.
Director Jones.
Aye.
Director Weber.
Aye.
Director Costa.
Aye.
President Wood.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you so much.
All right, moving on. This is, next one is for the heavy rescue unit. Again, our finance division has determined the prepayment option will not realize the cost savings for this purchase, so we'll be using the pay on delivery option again. The estimated lead time for this unit is 48 months, and when it goes into service, will enable us to retire a heavy rescue unit that will be 25 years old at the time. You look like you have a question, Director Gould.
No, I'm just 48 months.
That's standard.
Who's going to be alive in 48 months?
4 years.
That's nuts.
Yes. Yep, so staff recommends that the board approve this purchase of a heavy rescue from Golden State Fire.
Director Weber's got a comment or question.
You mentioned twice now pay on delivery in full. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions on this? Nope. Can I get a motion?
I so move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Can we get the roll, please?
Yes. Director Sailors.
Aye.
Director Gould.
Aye.
Director Stark.
Aye.
Director Clark.
Aye.
Director Rice.
Aye.
Director Jones.
Aye.
Director Weber.
Aye.
Director Costa.
Aye.
President Wood.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you so much.
See you in 2 weeks.
Always good seeing you. All right, moving back to items number 3 and 4. They are yours, Ms. Castleberry. Welcome back.
Thank you. First one here tonight is a fiscal year 2024 State Homeland Security Grant Program Award. Earlier this year, we submitted several applications totaling $381,790 for a slew of projects, including some hazmat equipment, some tactical EMS, TEMS, ballistic protective equipment to support response in the area, as well as some night vision enhancement goggles for our water rescue and technical rescue teams. We did receive on September 9th an award notification to fully fund our 2 hazmat projects that we submitted. The total award is $143,500. The other projects were not selected for funding this year. So our request tonight is to accept that award, approve a budget amendment to add those funds in. There is no match requirement on the SHISH gap. And then to authorize the fire chief or his designee to administer the award as we move forward.
Do you have any questions for Ms. Castleberry on this one? Director Gould?
Ma'am, when you get a rejection from the feds on those requests, do they provide you some form of rationale or justification for the rejection?
So for this program, which is the State Homeland Security Program, it's actually the awards come through FEMA to California to the Sacramento operational area. Those funds are managed by Sacramento County OES. They have a review and authorization committee comprised of different fire chiefs, police chiefs, sheriff, public health. They all sit together and look at all of the applications and decide where their priorities for the year are. So it's not uncommon. We typically submit several applications, and it's very common that only a few are selected. They're prioritized, so we keep trying.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Director Stark?
And real quick, if I may, we have a voice on that committee, a strong voice, and we do submit a lot of projects. I can assure you the ones we do are priorities for this organization because I have good information going into those meetings leading up to that to make a recommendation that's usually supported in conjunction with the other fire chiefs in the region. But we do have a good voice in that committee, so.
Chief, can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Chief, so I guess my concern is it's easy to dole out the money. It's not easy to track it and see the outcome to ensure that that money is being spent wisely and actually being spent and not shifted away into the darkness for some other project that they really wanted. So I'm just wondering in this shisk, whatever it is, at the end of the year, do they ever do some kind of an audit and say, hey, we funded this, but we don't see any outcome?
Yes, so how the process works, number one, SHISH-GAP has certain funding allocations.
Yeah.
So a certain percentage has to go to law enforcement, a certain percentage has to go to fire, a certain percentage has to go to public health. So the committee knows what those amounts are. I mean, all of Sacramento County only typically gets on an annual basis $1.5 to $1.8 million to spread between all fire agencies, all law enforcement agencies in the county and public health. So it's a relatively small amount of money. So that's why our projects that we submit are not our big AFG projects that we apply for, right? There are sort of smaller projects that we can execute quickly because they typically have a quick turnaround time as well. SAC OES does desk reviews. So if you're not, and they do quarterly reporting, so if you're not meeting your requirements, and this has happened in the past where they have disencumbered funds. So if there is another agency out there who was not able to spend their funds, and we have been on the benefiting end of that several times, where they have to reallocate funding, and they have this list of projects then that they can go to and say, hey, can you get it, we have 2 months to spend this money, can you get it done? And we've been on the receiving end of that several times.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
Director Stark?
Just a quick question for my edification. Is it your shop that does all our grants?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments, questions? All right, we got a pretty detailed motion here in item number 3. Anyone willing to make it?
We have 2 resolutions.
Two
So we need 2 separate, our first resolution is accepting the grant and authorizing the fire chief or designee to execute all. And then the second reso is amending the fiscal year 25-26 final budget for Grant Fund 212G.
All right, can we get a motion on the first resolution?
I'll make that motion, please.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second? Would you call the roll, please?
Yes, Director Saylors,
Aye.
Director Gould,
Aye.
Director Stark,
Aye.
Director Clark, Director Rice,
Aye.
Director Jones,
Aye.
Director Weber,
Aye.
Director Costa,
Aye.
President Wood.
Aye.
Thank you, motion passes.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I'd like to move to amend our final budget to accommodate the new grant funding.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Can we get the roll, please?
Yes, Director Saylors,
Aye.
Director Gould,
Aye.
Director Stark,
Aye.
Director Clark, Director Rice,
Aye.
Director Jones,
Aye.
Director Weber,
Aye.
Director Costa,
Aye.
President Wood.
Aye.
Thank you, motion passes.
Thank you so much. Moving back to you, Ms. Castleberry, for item 4.
Awesome. Well, we are very excited to bring this next item to you as we move forward in our implementation of Measure O facility and construction projects. As you know, our CIP has some demonstrated need over the next 5 years for a variety of facility improvement projects, including large construction projects, remodel and expansion projects, renovation projects, as well as other facility improvements and enhancements. So, seeing that need, we knew that we would need the services of an architecture and engineering firm as we move forward. Given our tight timeline related to our bond funding and, just staff capacity, we wanted to make sure that we had that those who would be competing for these projects as an architecture firm are qualified, responsible, and have demonstrated experience in projects of similar size and scope that we anticipate as we move forward here. So we decided to do a pre-qualification process for our architecture and engineering firms in order to establish a short list that would be able to compete for these contracts over the next 5 years. So this is sort of step one, is the pre-qualification process. We did issue a request for qualifications in August for the purpose of establishing this short list. The RFQ process was broken down into 2 sections, which was a pre-qualification questionnaire that was mostly centered around demonstrating that they are a responsible party, as well as an experienced party. That section had a pass-fail scoring section with some very basic minimum requirements. And then it also had minimum scoring requirements throughout the rest of that questionnaire. So I believe 63 or something was the number that you had to hit that score in order to pass. For those who met the minimum scoring qualifications, we moved on and scored and evaluated a narrative statement of qualifications that they were able to provide. We asked them to provide this narrative and asked several different questions of them to tell us about their team, tell us about their demonstrated experience with the specific types of projects that we anticipate having, including multi-design packages, one-off sort of facility improvement projects, renovation of existing facility projects. We asked them to tell us about their experience with those types of projects. That was scored by an evaluation panel based on criteria that included firm capacity and their qualifications, their demonstrated relevant experience, like I said, with projects of similar size and scope, their value proposition to the district, what set them apart from other firms that may be proposing, and of course, my favorite, just kidding, conformance to the requirements of the RFQ. Did they provide what we asked them to provide? We did receive 10 responses in response to the RFQ. 2 of those did not meet our minimum scoring requirements in the first evaluation and were disqualified. The other 8 we did review via an evaluation panel, and the top 5 scoring firms are recommended tonight to be added to our shortlist in order to be eligible to bid on our future projects over the next 5 years. We believe the firms that are represented here tonight, which would be Brown Reynolds Watford Architects, also known as BRW, Core Design Group, DLR Group, Lionakis, and PBK Architects. We believe that these firms do represent a pool that have the best chance of meeting our specific project needs over the next 5 years related to our different construction projects. So our recommendation tonight is that you establish this shortlist with our top scoring 5 firms. I'll take any questions you have.
Director Gould.
Hi, Aaron. Another question.
Again.
Was there a natural, in using your rubric and your scoring assessment, was there a natural break between 5 and 6?
There was.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions or comments? Director Rice.
Mine would be really for Council Lavera. One of these companies on here I've done extensive business with over the past couple of years. I've had no involvement in this process here. I've let contracts, I've signed checks, and I think my question would be, would I be in a better position to abstain? Or because I don't have any personal interest in this company whatsoever except for past business, am I okay to vote on it?
And for you or your family,
Me or my family?
there's no personal financial benefit?
None.
You're okay?
Thank you.
Good question, thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Anybody want to make a motion on this one?
I'll move it. Second.
I've got a motion and a second. We can get the roll, please?
Yes, Director Sailors,
Aye.
Director Gould,
Aye.
Director Stark, Director Clark, Director Rice,
Aye.
Director Jones,
Aye.
Director Weber,
Aye.
Director Costa,
Aye.
President Wood.
Aye.
Thank you, motion passes.
Thank you
you.
so much, Ms. Castleberry. We'll move on to reports. President's report, I'm going to say this because I don't think there'll be a problem. I'm sure I can say it with confidence that everyone else would support me, but Director Sailors, I hope that you are doing well, recovering, and that your recovery goes quickly.
Thank you very much.
Fire Chief's report, turn that over to you, Chief.
Thank you and good evening, directors, colleagues, members of the public. My report will also be short with one very important announcement. Is the celebration of life for engineer Mark Rogers is tomorrow, October 10th, 2025 at 1300 hours. 11:30 a.m. for arrival for those participating in the Sea of Blue. The location is Bayside Church at 800 White Rock Road in El Dorado Hills. All is welcome to attend. And for those unable to attend in person, we have provided a link to live stream that celebration of life tomorrow. And that will end my report tonight with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Let's see here. We have no operations, admin, or support services reports. I'm also informed we have no 522 report. So move on to committee and delegates. The executive committee has no report. Com Center JPA, Deputy Chief Eureka. No report. No report. Finance and Audit Committee, Director Jones.
Thank you, President Wood. Our next meeting's October 23rd, 5:30 in these chambers. Thank you.
And the Policy Committee, Director Costa.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Policy Committee met today, and we reviewed a board policy, an update to the Equal Employment Opportunity Policy, and the committee moved that forward to the board, so we'll be coming to a date soon. Our next meeting is November 13th.
Thank you so much, Director. Moving on to board member questions and comments. Director Sailors, I'll start with you.
I have no comments tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Jones?
Thank you. I just want to wish Director Sailors a quick recovery. Thank you.
Director Rice?
Contained.
Director Gould?
Same as Director Jones. Get well.
Director
Thank
Stark?
you.
I'm good, thank you.
Director Clark?
No comment.
Director Weber?
Echoing with Director Sailors, you've got my text on this as far as a personal note. Utilize that if need be.
Thank you.
Director Costa?
No comment.
And from my perspective, I just want to say, Director Rice, appreciate the work you did, your committee did for the firefighters memorial this last week. Every year, it just seems to get better and better, more meaningful. I hope you understand what I mean. But thank you for all your work. Thank you for your hospitality there. Thank you to all the agencies that came to support those members who were put on the wall. And with that, we're going to go into closed session and hope I don't see anyone when we get back.